The Connection podcast, hosted by Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition and Yuma County Mental Health Coalition, is a community-focused podcast dedicated to informing, educating, and empowering listeners on drug prevention, mental health awareness, and strengthening partnerships for a healthier future.
Hello, friends. It's a great day to be living in Yuma. Welcome to The Connection. I'm Jenny LeGros, Executive Director for the Yuma County Mental Health Coalition. And I have here today with me my very special guest, very dear and longtime friend, Shelley Mellon.
Thank you.
Who wears, oh my gosh, so many different hats and plays so many valuable roles in Yuma, many of which I really hope that we're going to get to chat about today. So let's get started.
Okay.
So you're Yuma grown.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just give us like a brief history about growing up here in Yuma and like what it means to you to be like an involved member of your community?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jenny, for having me. And it's an honor to be here. I absolutely love our community. We moved here. My family had businesses established in Yuma, but my mom and dad moved here in '74 for my dad to work in San Luis at the office in San Luis, the import-export office there. And we're only supposed to be here for 3 years and move back to San Diego. And we're still here. We haven't left.
Yes.
So they fell in love, like we all do, everybody that experiences Yuma, and all the opportunities to be able to be involved in the community. My mom grew the orchestra to what it is today with, a lot of work from others,
Right.
and so the Yuma Orchestra Association will be celebrating its 50th coming up, which is crazy.
Yes, that's so exciting.
And then just watching my mom and my dad, whether it was, the beginnings of the food bank or other organizations, and where there's just different needs, he was able to work with his mentors, which was, Steve Shadle, Mr. Sol Weedle, Frosty Brading, a lot of them that were visionaries in their time, really, and they have such amazing legacies, but he was able to work with them and began a lot of these different organizations that we count on today. So
Right.
watching them and them being just huge heroes and mentors in my life, it was just kind of, not expected, but encouraged
Sure.
to be involved in your community, whether
I
you're
feel like it just happens
volunteering
naturally.
or however you need to do your part. And it's fun. It's fun to get together, with others and volunteer and to work together. And so I love that there are lots of ways to get involved in Yuma.
Right. Definitely. And one of the involvements that you had, here we are sitting in this beautiful renovated building, the Jack Mellon building. And so just kind of describe what the vision of this building is and how it came to be the renovation
Right.
process. I mean, I know it took a village, right? And whatnot, but I know that you really led the way in that. And so what was your vision behind that? And what is the purpose now of this building?
Another organization and nonprofit that is near and dear to our hearts is the Yuma County Historical Society and the Sanguinetti House that's next door. And this was the Jack Mellon Mercantile, and he was a steamboat captain along the Colorado River and part of the Mellon family, which is my husband's family in agriculture and farming. And so this building was not being utilized, and there was a lot of things that were needing some tender loving care. The adobe walls were
Right.
coming down from water damage, and so we were able to come in partnership with the Historical Society and bring those people that have that expertise in building up the walls and redoing the floors and paint and new doors and lighting and things
Right.
like that. So to really just give it a refreshen it and also to sustain it so it can last another 100 to 200
Yes.
years. And so we were fortunate to be able to do that. But the idea and the premise behind it was to be able to have a nonprofit hub where local different nonprofits can come in and share a hub where their executive directors and their boards could come in and do fundraising and meetings and have a place to meet with donors that feels more like a home, than to be very sterile. It would just be a nice, warm, welcoming place. And we get to do our podcast here now, which is a lot of fun.
And so, yes, thank you. I mean, this building has already, in the short time it's been, finalized, we've already got to take advantage of it in so many different ways. And it really, your vision for it really has already served its purpose, because it really does feel like an exciting place to come to each time, whether it is a meeting. And I mean, how many people can really say they're excited to go to a meeting? But I know I definitely can when it's here. And so thank you again for that. The name of the podcast is called The Connection.
I love that.
And so we really, over the years, you and I, all of the different things that we have been involved in, it really comes down to that word connection, right? And being able to connect people with each other and different groups and whatnot. But tell us, can you share with us about the various nonprofits that you do belong to, and, the connection between all of them?
All of them. Yes. One of that comes to mind is our Southwest Arizona Town Hall. And that organization has been around, I want to say, 25 plus years. And from the town halls, each year we hold a plenary session that's focused on a topic, a need in Yuma County. And so the community comes around together. We usually start in the morning and have keynote speakers, that focus on that topic and help us to start thinking out of the box and solutions and recommendations that we as a community can collaborate about and move that work forward. And so a lot of the things that have come out of those town halls we see in our community that we've advocated for water through our town halls. Our Every Vote Counts is where our voting centers came out of. And then a few years ago we did the criminal justice town hall, which we knew once we started that one, that just snowballed from the criminal justice. We then did another town hall on mental health and substance use and vulnerable populations, homelessness, and they all just kind of led and are all interrelated. And from that, the recommendations were to, revitalize the coalition, the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition, which had been in the process but needed additional funding, and then the Yuma County Mental Health Coalition, which are both now up and going and thriving.
Right, and that's why, I'm so grateful. I know that's why I'm here.
Right.
I feel like that really stemmed from the Yuma Town Hall. That's where it stemmed from, and that's why I'm able to sit alongside of you today, doing this podcast.
And a lot of these challenges are not unique to Yuma County. These are challenges that are faced across the nation.
Right.
But I think one thing that is really unique about Yuma County is that we get things done. We do not work in silos. We all, collaborate, work together. We're one phone call away, and that's where the connection is perfect, because that's important. You may know somebody that's working in this area, and once those two people meet, then they just take it from there, and things can be accomplished. And it's for the better good of our community. We don't want to document our ideas to just sit on a shelf. We want to be about action and facilitating that change. That we all.
That's exactly what I appreciate the most about the town hall, is because you go through that whole session, but then at the end there is the call to action,
accountability,
right? And there is that accountability part, and so that is what's really good, and it's bringing all of those different sectors of our community together at one table, and in the various groups to be able to come to a consensus on something and then move that initiative forward, right? So, talking about the town halls, the community initiatives, and all of that. So where do you see all of the different nonprofits, coalitions, and things like that? What is the vision? What is your vision? What is the future look like for those different groups that you belong to?
We have such such an involved community and boards and executive directors. And again, it's breaking down those silos where we can have a hub of nonprofits and executive directors that can work together. A lot of times when organizations go for grants, those or other organizations that are awarding the grants, they want to see that collaboration and how we're stronger together, working together. And so by having the hub, we can ensure that the dollars that we receive are going towards the work of the coalition versus a lot of overhead for buildings and things like that we can share a lot of those expenses. I think is important by having that hub. But I feel like there's so much synergy, and we talk about this at our Yuma Anti-Drug Coalition with all the different organizations and nonprofits that are there. Let's work together. How can we collaborate? How can we share costs? How can we go for a grant together? And again, breaking down those silos and being stronger, working together towards these initiatives. And when everybody gets on board, that's where you really see that synergy and change happen, and you see the impact. And we're already seeing that, with
Right.
our youth. We're seeing it within the Mental Health Coalition. Another huge partner has been, on Vito, our hospital, where they knew this mental health out of the I think it was the 2019 mental health town hall was when the operating board took those recommendations, and we have
Yeah.
a mental health clinic, and
Exactly.
and you can see all the changes that come out of those recommendations, and it's the voice of the community, and they listen. All of us are listening. But what can we do together to move that needle,
Right.
to make it? We already love our community. We just want to
Right.
make it even better and do our part. It's like on our watch. This is our time of
Yeah.
we want to make sure that those generations coming behind us, have the tools and have the pathway we've modeled the leadership that those before us have done for us as well.
Yeah, and a good point, you just had been bringing up our youth, right? And one of the things that you, founded, I believe, with a group of people, was Yuma Youth Leadership. And I know that there has been some years now where it has been put to the side a little bit, but I know that we have some plans and some
Yes.
revitalization that we want to bring back that program as well. And so where do you see our youth? Because Yuma Town Hall also had a Yuma Youth Town Hall,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
so can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yuma Youth Town Hall, Yuma Youth Leadership began before, I kind of took over at one point and brought the different, high schools and everybody together for the Yuma Youth Leadership. And then out of the Yuma Youth Leadership began the Yuma Youth Town Hall. Every town hall that we have, we make sure we have youth represented, that they are part of those discussions along with the adults, because the adults, we need to listen both ways. And so they need to hear that perspective from that generation. So from that, the Yuma Youth Leadership wanted to begin the Yuma Youth Town Hall. And so we would do a lot of the same topics that then tie into Arizona Town Hall, because we partner with Arizona Town Hall. So that voice is taken to the state level and to our legislators as well. But it's important that they know how to have civil discourse, how to have, these sessions that we come together. We may agree to disagree, but we'll learn from each other, and we will always find that we have more in common than we don't. And I think that's a unique tool of what do we have in common? How can we work together?
Right.
And so we haven't had that. COVID kind of shut that down for a bit with our transportation, and we're hoping to bring that back around. But the Yuma Anti-Drug Coalition and the Yuma County Mental Health Coalition have a youth.
Yes.
And one of the things that came out of the Yuma Regional Medical Center Foundation is the Yellow Ribbon suicide prevention and awareness
Yes.
program that was implemented into all the high schools. And it's a peer-to-peer And so that's also being revitalized and worked
That's also
on,
in the
and
process,
so
absolutely.
so many great things. Yes.
So many
Yeah.
great things. And so I guess just kind of wrapping it up, what advice would you give to someone, whether it be a youth or adult, that just wants to become more involved in their community, in our community?
There are so many opportunities to get involved, and whether your passion, and I've been fortunate to be on the arts side, on the
Right.
different exposure to different parts, and our community is really vibrant, and that we have pretty much everything. If you want to be involved, you look at whether it's
I know,
through
I always laugh
Facebook
when people
or
are like,
there's
oh,
nothing,
there's nothing to do, or I'm so bored, or, I'm like, there's so
oh
much
my
to
goodness!
do.
I'm also part of the Yuma County National Heritage Area. We're always looking for volunteers, whether it's planting trees or cleanup or fun things like that. So within our whole community, it's get a hold of us or anyone, and we always are looking to get more people involved, and you meet new people, and it's just a lot of fun. So I encourage
awesome.
everyone to do that. And don't be afraid. I mean, you think, like, for
Step
instance,
out
let me
of your
give an
comfort
example.
zone. It's okay.
When I was, by default, I don't know, became the chair of the Yuma Anti-Drug Coalition, surrounded by all these people that are expert in this field, and I'm an insurance broker. I'm like, what am I gonna know about, the Anti-Drug Coalition? Because they all work in it every day.
Right.
But I learned so much, and I can be an advocate. So I may not work directly in that. I saw the impact being on the Yuma Union High School District Board,
Right.
on the impact of fentanyl on our families and community. And we're grateful for the grant that we received through the White House, in which Mayor Nichols helped us, be able to apply for. But it is important, to see that we may not be the experts. We have so much to learn, and then you can be an advocate. I can now share things
Right.
that I never knew before about the different
And
things in our
everyone
community.
has their different skill set
Yeah,
and
yeah.
talents and
Right.
or gifts that they can bring to the table, right? And it is just about being there, being present, and then being able to connect, right?
Yes.
Like we said.
And I always say, I guess one of the little secret sauce for me is always have smarter people in the room. So I really will not know the answers, but I know who might know that. So I'll
Yep.
just connect them.
And surround
they
yourself
can
with those
off and
individuals.
running they are. They can go. So
Yes.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
again
you.
is there anything else that you would like us to know in regards to, the different coalitions or, things moving forward? Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
No, I thank you for having me today, and I just look forward to all the things that are right around the corner, and getting more people engaged and involved. I think is important, and so it's a bright future.
Thank you.
So.
I appreciate the thing I appreciate about you sharing all of these different things is I already know these things, right? But I realize that not everybody else does when we are in our different groups and settings and things like that. And so I'm just so excited and so happy that you were able to get here and share this with us. And I look forward to more continued times together in championing our community, for our community.
Absolutely.
And continued connections.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone for joining us today on today's podcast. If you want to also reach out, you can make sure to check us out on our website at YCMHC.com, and we look forward to you having a beautiful rest of your day.